Hey, what is going on, Feral community? I'm back. My name is Blue. This is another Feral video, and I know you guys did not expect for one Feral video, but yet again another one. I am excited about DragonFlight. I do want to be truthful about that. Maybe not so much DragonFlight, but maybe the idea of Feral changing coming into DragonFlight. I'm really excited about that, and that's what this video is about. Basically, I thought of a few ideas and changes that I want to obviously, go forth and talk about with you guys for entertainment. But mostly this video is actually me reaching out to you, to the community, and trying to get some ideas of just where we can put all these things and just have an organized area where we can all talk about these changes that maybe you have thought of that nobody else thought of, and this would be an awesome change that everybody agrees would be cool going into DragonFlight. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get into the video. So currently, and this is feedback, I do want to say, hey, this is just some honest feedback. I really hope I'm not, picking on anybody here. But currently, the Feral tree is lacking in talent options and creativity. Again, not trying to poke fun. As a community of Feral players, we understand there's not a lot of people that play this class. And me, myself, let's put myself into your shoes as maybe a dev and somebody's asking me to create a tree that I've never played that spec before. Yeah, it would be difficult, okay? So just some honest feedback here. Okay, one of the issues is 12 talents are related to just energy. Yeah, some of them are pretty cool. I do want to say some of them, including Savage Roar. I did include Savage Roar in this 12. Some of them are cool, but yeah, that is a lot of talents just for energy. And yes, energy is important. We do want it, but it would be awesome if maybe those talents that have three specific, you need to invest 3 specific talents in them. Hey, if they could be 1 and then we could add more creative options, that would be awesome. And that's kind of what we're asking for here. 12 related to energy and 3 related just to Berserk. Okay, I do actually like the changes to Berserk. I like the different talent options about changing our cooldown. That is awesome, okay? First, I feel that Berserk does need to be changed, but the second issue is with the actual options of Berserk in our talent tree, they're just not awesome, and they're very forgettable. I actually look at the talent tree quite often, and I have to look, okay, this Berserk does this Berserk does this. I forget about them. They're just not cool. So yes, I like the Berserk options of making a cooler Berserk and talenting into that, but again, just not interesting. So it's not a big issue, but when you take a look at the whole picture, basically 15 of our talents are related just to energy or just to changing our cooldown, and that's half of our talent tree in general. So again, if we can increase the options by reducing the amount that you have to invest into just one node, I would be really, really happy. Again, so how can your feedback be heard? I'm just one person. I'm probably going to think of more ideas later on, and I wish I included in the video, but I didn't know until now. But I'm sure you guys have awesome ideas. What I'm going to go ahead and do is, if you do, please go ahead and take a look at the link down below. I'll leave the Cat Theory Discord in the link. Now, in this Cat Theory, go ahead, you're going to see the cat chat, and in the cat chat, you're going to see DragonFlight Wishlist. In here, you're going to see kind of how I organized it. Try to be very neat and tidy with your organization. Try to highlight, say, hey, this is a change I'd like to see to Berserk, and then highlight Berserk so we can see it. And then also what I do want to say is I want to discourage people. If you want to go in here and you want to make fun of people's ideas and so forth, I don't care. But please don't do it in this DragonFlight wish list. We want to try to keep it as neat as possible. So go ahead and highlight somebody's crappy idea, and then go ahead and put it in either the Feral chat or the Dream Crub Discord. Go ahead and do that, but let's try to keep this neat and tidy, and I'll be monitoring myself as well. Last but not least, Alpha or Beta Key. Come on, y'all. That'd be cool. Blue Faucet Illidan. Let's go. All right. Druid General. This is in the general tree, Furor. I don't know how to say it also, but if you saw my last video, I was kind of talking about this, but let's go over it. So currently, when you shift into a form you haven't been in for 15 seconds, abilities cost no mana, energy, rage, or astral power for 4 seconds. Okay? Kind of neat. I see where we're going here. I'm going to make one change. This is my favorite change, by the way. Change 1. Staying in a form for 15 seconds allows you to use other affinity spells freely for 4 seconds. Those spells will also generate combo points, rage, or astral power. Okay? Now, the idea of how I see this working, and for the feral community, it's kind of like regrowth. You have regrowth on your bars, but you can't cast it without going out of form unless you have a proc. So these are going to kind of work like that. Let's say you got Moonfire, Sunfire, and then you talent into that Empowered Sunfire. Ooh, it'd be dope, right? So those are on your bars, but you can't press them until this 15 seconds, until that 15 seconds has gone through its duration, and then they're going to highlight, and then you can press them, and then they won't highlight again until the next 15 seconds, right? Really cool. I would really like that. Please do that. Change 2. Copy and paste current spells, but add shifting into forms this way does not cause a GCD. Okay, big issue with GCD. The shifting is really cool, but it is very tedious when we got these GCDs going into form, going out of form, into your original form. It's just messy, okay? So, yucky. I think it would be a lot more enticing if that GCD didn't exist, but very much more enticing if this worked. This would actually be an increase to our DPS, especially with these combo point generating abilities. Whew, I would like that. All right, Berserk. Let's change Berserk, you guys. Let's change the spell a little bit. Now, the change that I want to do is Berserk needs to have some type of damage to it, all right? And we saw Blizzard trying to fix that. It looks like they kind of added a leap and then a Feral Frenzy to it. Now, the issue with that Feral Frenzy is it does reduce us from casting during our Berserk cooldown, which feels a little bit yucky. But hey, we're on the same page. Berserk needs damage to feel like relevant and feel fun to press, feel impactful. So my idea here is go Berserk, cutting down your target and applying a deep wound. Now, Feral players, you know that deep wound is a passive. Forget about that. We're talking about fantasy here. We're just applying this huge, massive, deep wound to the target, which can be stacked. For 20 seconds, finishing move has a 20% chance per combo point spent to refund 2 combo points. Now, talking about this deep wound, again, we want some damage. So basically, this deep wound, which is a fairly weak bleed that never falls off, has infinite duration, but is capable of stacking up multiple times after multiple uses of Berserk. So how I envision this is it is a dot. It's a very weak dot because obviously Berserk has a 3-minute cooldown. I want some damage tied to Berserk, but it can't be huge since it's over a 3-minute duration, right? So the bleed is pretty small, okay? But what would be really cool is stacking. Let's say the fight lasts forever. Instead of stacking additively, we want to stack these multiplicatively. Now that would be awesome, and then Feral could be this very unique class where it's just like, hey, holy cow, this boss fight is lasting a very long time. Let's go ahead and bring a Feral in here, which towards the end of the fight, their damage is going to be ramping up because of these Berserk deep wounds. So basically, the more casts of Berserk, the stronger this deep wound is going to get progressively, and I think it would be very fun and interesting. Now, adding to this idea of this deep wounds, I had an additional talent that we could create, Berserk, Calculated Deep Wounds. So Berserk, Calculated Deep Wounds says, Berserk now causes all enemies in range to be affected by deep wounds. Enemies that die debuffed with deep wounds reduce the duration of Berserk by 7 seconds. So basically the time and everything can be changed here, but basically this is going to be an M+ talent. Again, the bleed is not super impactful, but now we have a way of reducing Berserk, making this a fun M+ talent that, hey, now I can actually use my Berserk in M+ and not feel super terrible about it. And the idea here is maybe a 5-pack can reduce Berserk by 35 seconds, a bigger pack obviously helping. So this would be a fun use of Berserk in M+, or M+ talent. Another change, Berserk, Blood Soaked. This is another talent options to add to Berserk. During Berserk, Rake hits all enemies in range, and Rake ticks 300% faster, okay? The idea here is to change Berserk change the way we use Berserk. So it's like, yes, now we're incentivized to use Berserk and M plus because we chose maybe calculated deep wounds. Now I also can choose Blood Soaked. So now I'm using Berserk in my AoE packs, but now I'm going to change the rotation of my Berserk. I'm going to actually use Rake. Usually with bigger packs, we're kind of incentivized not to use Rake and instead Swipe. The idea here is Swipe hits more enemies and we have a greater chance to crit. Now here it can change the rotation slightly. Now we also want to Rake. And kind of the fantasy here is we want to Rake, and we want those Rakes to tick really fast so that we can use Rake multiple times. Let's say 2 times or 3 times in a Berserk duration would be wonderful. So now I actually can really have an impactful change to my rotation instead of swiping and then finishing all the time. Maybe now I can weave in rakes, swipe, finish, and oh, my rake is about to fall off, and do that. I think that would be a really fun change to this M plus, or to our M plus environment, and getting Berserk stronger, a stronger cooldown in AoE. Now the last one is Presence of the Beast. I want to say I don't play PvP, but this idea came to me, and kind of the fantasy of cats being off on their own and just bringing that into the game. So a new PvP talent. When there are no allies within 10 yards of yourself, either gain a buff or add a debuff to the enemy. So a buff, I said, is gain a percentage mastery or verse. That kind of the stats that are wanted in PvP. Or possibly debuff the enemy, increase damage taken. Now the whole idea here is, I'm kind of excited about this even though I don't play PvP, but the idea of moving to a new expansion, you want something to change, right? You want to have something change. Now with this talent, if it's strong enough for PvPers, this is a huge impactful change. To be like, oh man, hey buddy, try not to be so close to me because I do a lot of damage by myself. You know, so we're going to try to change how we play so that I can do that. And then something else to be really fun is, instead of doing a buff, maybe a debuff here, so that this is possibly, you know, your enemy gets this debuff on you and they're like, oh crap, I have this Feral Druid right next to me, but not only is he next to me stealth, that I know he's near me, but I also know his ally is not near him. So that gives, you know, a really strong ability, some counterplay, which I think would be fun. But that's it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I do want to say here, thank you so much on my last video. It was really wonderful. It was kind of out of the blue, and I had a lot of great feedback. Thank you all for your support. I really, really appreciate it, truly. I hope you all are doing well. Go ahead and look in the link. Let's get that Feral Discord popping. Let's get these ideas popping off, and hopefully we can make a change in the future. But that's it, everybody. Take it easy. Peace.